Welcome to our Reddit. Today's stories is about a Karen and her spoiled kid on the bus. The city was buzzing with the usual morning activity as people rushed to work, school, and other destinations. Among the crowd waiting at the bus stop was a woman known in the neighborhood as Karen. She was in her early 40s, impeccably dressed in designer clothes, with a no-nonsense haircut that framed her sharp features. Beside her stood her son, Timmy, a 7-year-old with a perpetual scowl on his face. He was dressed in brand-name clothing from head to toe and clutched the latest handheld gaming device in his hands. The bus pulled up to the stop, and the doors hissed open. Karen immediately pushed her way to the front, ignoring the queue of people who had been waiting before her. "Excuse me, we have places to be," she snapped at an elderly woman who had been patiently waiting at the front of the line. The bus driver, a middle-aged man with a weary look in his eyes, sighed and watched as Karen dragged Timmy onto the bus. Karen flashed her monthly pass, not bothering to wait for the driver to acknowledge it, and marched down the aisle to find a suitable seat. "Timmy, sit here," she ordered, pointing to a prime spot at the front of the bus, usually reserved for elderly or disabled passengers. Timmy plopped down, eyes glued to his game, oblivious to the world around him. Karen settled next to him and pulled out her phone, loudly making a call. "Yes, I'm on the bus. Can you believe these people? So inconsiderate. Anyway, I need to make sure the meeting is rescheduled. I can't possibly be expected to fit my schedule around theirs." Her voice carried through the bus, drawing disapproving glances from other passengers. A young woman with a stroller tried to maneuver her way past Karen and Timmy, but Karen didn't budge. "Watch it. You'll scratch my shoes," Karen snapped, glaring at the woman, who muttered an apology and hurried to find another seat. The bus trundled on, stopping to pick up more passengers. Each time, Karen's eyes narrowed as she assessed the newcomers, judging them silently. Timmy, meanwhile, continued to play his game, occasionally letting out frustrated yells when he lost. "Mom, I need more coins for my game," Timmy demanded loudly, tugging at Karen's sleeve. "Timmy, I've told you 1,000,000 times, don't interrupt me when I'm on the phone," Karen scolded, but she reached into her purse and handed him a credit card anyway. Timmy grinned, swiping the card on his device to make a purchase. As the bus filled up, a pregnant woman got on. She looked around for a seat but found none available. She glanced at the priority seating area, where Timmy was sitting, and hesitated before approaching Karen. "Excuse me, ma'am," the pregnant woman began politely. "Could your son move to another seat so I can sit down?" Karen looked up from her phone, her expression icy. "Are you serious? My son is sitting here. Find another seat." "But this is priority seating, and I really need to sit down," the woman insisted, her voice trembling slightly. "I don't care what you need," Karen snapped. "Timmy is comfortable here, and he's not moving. If you have a problem, take it up with the driver." The pregnant woman looked around for support, but the other passengers avoided her gaze, not wanting to get involved. Defeated, she moved to the back of the bus and held onto a railing. As the bus continued its journey, a sudden jolt caused Timmy to drop his game device. It clattered to the floor, and he let out a piercing scream. "Mom, my game! It's broken!" he wailed. Karen sprang into action, glaring at the driver. "What kind of driving is this? You've just broken my son's expensive game. Do you know how much that cost?" The driver glanced in the rearview mirror, trying to keep his composure. "Ma'am, I'm doing my best to drive safely. The roads are bumpy." "Well, your best isn't good enough," Karen retorted. "I demand you stop this bus immediately and get my son a new game." The driver sighed. "Ma'am, I can't stop the bus for that. If you have a complaint, you can file it with the transit authority." Karen's face turned red with fury. "I will be filing a complaint, and I'll make sure you're fired for this incompetence." Timmy continued to cry, and Karen did her best to comfort him, all the while muttering angrily about the driver's incompetence. The other passengers exchanged looks of disbelief, but no one dared to speak up. As the bus approached a busy intersection, it came to a halt at a red light. Karen, still seething, decided she'd had enough. She grabbed Timmy's hand and stood up. "Come on, Timmy. We're getting off this horrible bus. We'll take an Uber instead," she declared, pushing her way to the front again. The bus driver opened the doors to let them off, and Karen shot him one last withering glare. "I hope you enjoy unemployment," she hissed before stepping onto the sidewalk, dragging Timmy behind her. As the bus pulled away, a collective sigh of relief went through the remaining passengers. The atmosphere lightened considerably, and the driver even managed a small smile. The pregnant woman finally found a seat and sat down gratefully. The young woman with the stroller maneuvered her way to a better spot. Conversations resumed, and the tension that had filled the bus began to dissipate. Karen and Timmy, meanwhile, stood on the sidewalk, waiting for their Uber. Timmy's cries had subsided to sniffles, and Karen's expression softened slightly as she looked at him. "Don't worry, sweetie. Mommy will get you a new game," she promised, pulling out her phone to order the Uber. As they waited, Timmy looked up at her, his eyes still teary. "Mom, why do people always look at us like that?" Karen hesitated, then smiled down at him. "They're just jealous, Timmy. They wish they had what we have. Remember, you deserve the best, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Timmy nodded, a small smile forming on his face. The Uber arrived, and Karen helped him into the back seat. As they drove away, she felt a sense of vindication. She was just looking out for her son, after all. And in a world that was often unfair and harsh, she would always make sure he got what he deserved. And so, the city continued its busy morning, the bus moving on to its next stop, and life returning to its usual rhythm. But for those who had witnessed the morning's events, the memory of Karen and her spoiled kid on the bus would linger, a reminder of the challenges and complexities of daily life in the bustling city. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more content like this.